Hello. Yeah, my name is AUSLAUG, and I'm a grateful overeater in recovery. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day, write them down, and announce them to my sponsor. I don't eat in between meals, no matter what, and abstinence is certainly the most important thing in my life, without exception. And my abstinence date is October 18th, 2010. Or we can say it was a little bit earlier, was February 4th by the Food Addiction Therapy Center, which I will come to later. Well, I'm so grateful to be here with you. And it's so inspiring listening to all of you, and especially those people with such a long abstinence, which really, really inspiring. Well, many of you have talked about yourselves being a food addict even since you were a small child. I'm pretty sure that I was also, even though I was very small and very thin until I was 6 years old. I didn't like to eat, but my parents were worried about me not eating at all. But when I was 6 years old, I was operated, by the tonsils were taken away, and all of a sudden I got appetite, and I just was nothing like before. I had appetite, everything was good, food was good, and I ate and I ate and I ate. And my parents then they were worried about the opposite problem. I was, by the age of 10, even in 10 to 2 years, age of 8 years old, I was very, very obese already. So I've been struggling all my life with my weight. And during the teenage years, sometimes, I had programs that made me a little bit, losing weight, and like that, like a yo-yo for many, 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 many years. And I don't say my life was a misery all the time, but this was always a major problem in my life, though. And I was really battling. I was really struggling all my life with this. I was negotiating with myself all the time. There was such a lot of things going on in my head. I remember just before getting abstinent, I had for years problems sleeping, and because maybe one dinner I had eaten much too much, and I had felt so I had overeaten, and I felt miserable. And then I said to myself, tomorrow I won't do this again. And then the day after, of course, I was trying to be reasonable. I ate reasonably. And then 2 hours later, maybe just before going to bed, I was saying to myself, oh, you didn't really eat enough. Shouldn't I go and see if there is something in the fridge? No, you shouldn't. You should just stay in your bed and try to sleep. No, I feel a little bit hungry. Well, I need to get something. I won't be able to. And that was going on in my head all the time. And then that was by the age of 50 something, 53, I think, when I started abstinence. I learned about abstinence. It was by a coincidence. Somebody in my family had been abstinent, and I asked her what she was doing, and she told me about this food addiction therapy center, which we are lucky enough to have in Iceland. Thanks to Esther, and I'm very, very, very grateful to her for that. And I went to see her. Probably would not have been there if I had known it was all about, about spiritual work. I decided to go there because this was physically my last option I found, because I had been my doctors said that I had no choice. I had to lose weight. And so I went there. I said to myself, I'm going into this gray prison. For me, it was really a prison that I was going to use this food plan. And when I started this, I'd been doing the program for maybe 4 to 6 weeks or so. There was a revelation, like a revelation. I was not thinking about food anymore. I realized I'd been completely obsessed by food. All of a sudden, I felt so free. I felt this freedom. I remember Esther told me it was a awakening, a spiritual awakening, and I did not realize. And I was so really, I was thrilled. There was something, I realized that there was something new in my life, and this was really what I wanted to do for forever after, if I could. But as we say, one day at a time. So this gray prison actually became my freedom from food and freedom from this obsession. And then little by little, about half a year later, I went into the GSA program, which also was a very good step in my life. It gave me this spiritual dimension that I did not have in my life. I didn't have any higher power in my life when I started my abstinent life. And for me, it's really 3 things more or less that I find so necessary in my life. It's the frame that the GSA program, the GreySheet gives me. I know what to eat. I don't have to eat things that are harmful for me. I know how much I have to eat. I don't have these questions about have I eaten enough, have I not eaten enough. I know that if I eat what's on the scale, exactly the amount that's on the scale, I will not be hungry until the next meal and until the normal hours of the next meal. Keeps me going. I'm not hungry, and I'm not angry also either, because I realized afterwards that I was always, my family had realized, but I did not, that if I was hungry, I was very, very angry all the time, upset, very stressed, nervous, and things like that. So that was what I feel when this is the first thing, the frame. And then the second thing, that you're not alone. I could always call my sponsor and my sponsees. They put me on the right place also. I remember how it was to be a newcomer, how I felt when I was a newcomer. Do I want to go back there? No, I don't want to go back there. And of course, you do have people in your life that you want to please, but nobody, though, is going to interfere with my food. Nobody is going to tell me, and I'm not going to please anyone because they've prepared something for me that is not on my program. Then I don't please them with things like that. I was a bit shaky in the beginning with some people, especially my French friends, who always eating a lot of good stuff and preparing good stuff. But I know now exactly how to say no, and most of them know what I'm eating and how I'm eating, and people do understand. And if I have any problems, I have friends all over the world that I can call. And if I can't get to my sponsor. And then the third thing is, for me, very important, is the spiritual program, this 12 steps. I did not know what these 12-step program was all about when I started doing the abstinence program. And there I learned to deal with my feelings, and that I had been trying to learn before. I'd been trying to, go to psychologists and seeing a lot of all kinds of consultants, and I had never had to look on my part before. What have I done, and what can I do not to be always a victim. So this has taught me so much, and it's given me a new life that I would not have today if it wasn't for the abstinence. And I'm so grateful, and that for my life being worth living it. I'm just going to say that I find really nothing important enough to do any deviations from the program. There is nothing that would justify a bite, for the first bite, because I would not have this life that I have today if it wasn't for my abstinence. So I'm so grateful for you, all of you who have brought the message to me. And I'm trying to bring the message to those of them who are out there. Very little things that I can do, but I don't hide my scale when I eat out, and I'm eating out all the time because I have a profession that makes me eat a lot with other people. So thank you so much.